Lightning and lightning bugs. Wow, I had a total revelation this morning and complete rework of the talk. This will be an interesting journey for us all. This talk began with my favorite Mark Twain quote, which is, the difference between the right word and the almost right word. He actually said, I looked it up this morning, he actually said, tis the difference between lightning and a lightning bug. And I always loved that idea that the right word is like, boom, a bolt of lightning. It's strong, it's powerful. Not, lightning bug. But then, thanks to our good friend Google, I did a little research on the lightning bug. The lightning, I already had that down. I understood that, lightning's strong. It's like got 1 billion watts in each bolt that comes down, which is enough to light up a light bulb, a 60-watt light bulb for about 6 months, as well as your refrigerator door standing open for about a day. I don't know who figured that part out, but that's true. Most lightning strikes happen in Central Africa. The next biggest place for lightning strikes is where? The Great Plains, Iowa, the Great Plains of the U.S. Right. And most lightning happens between clouds because the particles, the negative and positive ion particles, are strongest between the clouds. And like all nature, lightning is an expression of nature trying to get into balance. And so when we see lightning, cloud to ground lightning, that's actually because the negative ions get to the bottom of the clouds, positive ions are at the surface of the earth, and the two are coming together. And what you actually, this is the trippiest part about lightning for me. What actually happens is lightning comes up from the ground, up to the sky. But when the connection of the negative and positive particles come together, boom, that's when you see the light. And it travels so fast that it looks like it's going down to the ground, but it's actually going the other way. Isn't that interesting? I know, I thought that was pretty interesting. Now, some other good stuff about lightning. Don't freak out. 9 out of 10 people survive lightning strikes. Unfortunately, there are some problems with surviving a lightning strike. One of them is memory. Right, yes. The other one is you could become permanently dizzy. You could have heart problems. Parts of your body could become numb. And of course, there is the burns, billion volts of energy, right? So that, lightning is powerful. I get it. Lightning is powerful. And that's where the quote comes from. It's power in your words. I truly get that. And and by the way, cars, this is your warning about if you're in a car and a lightning strikes, you're cool as long as you stay in the car. The minute you step out of the car, you're in trouble. Because see, the lightning is grounded by the car tires. But if you step out, then you become the ground for the lightning bolt. So, stay there. Stay there. Yes. You stay in the car till the storm dissipates. Yeah, then you get out. You stay in the car till the storm dissipates. Yes, that is a good, thank you, dear. That is a good point. All right. Now here's where my talk kind of went a little because the lightning bug, which is actually a beetle, is a very interesting thing. It's not a firefly. Sometimes we call them fireflies. It's not actually a firefly. It's a beetle. All right. But and they can be synchronized. The lighting can be synchronized. That's pretty incredible that they can synchronize their lights, right? And they're actually kind of an alchemist. And this is where I was like kind of turning around a little bit because with the light bulb, 10% of the energy goes to the light. 90% of the energy goes to heat. But with the lightning bug, with the firefly, its chemical reaction, it's like an alchemist, and it puts these chemicals together that causes the luminescence of the bug, of the lightning bug, right? And so it uses 100% of its energy to create that light. There's no wasted energy. It's very efficient. And I like efficient words. So that's when I was like thinking, which is the better word? Is it the lightning bolt word or is it the efficiently used lightning bug word? We'll have to debate that during the talk today, in my own head and outside with you guys. So that's where I went with this lightning bug thing. But I'm going to stick with the other idea. I'm debating about the lightning bug having that efficiency. That thing kind of really got to me. But I'm going to stick with the idea that the strong word, the powerful word, the word is the one we want to use in our speech. That's the one we want to apply when we're applying love. We want to pick words that are going to give us the most strength, the most power. And really, when I'm thinking about God, I'm thinking God can probably handle a lightning bolt word. How big is your God, right? So let's talk about words. And one of the things that words, where it comes really clear about words is, we're going to go Bible, folks. John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Wow. That's actually really super powerful. The words you speak create. Nothing is created without the word. Nothing is created without the idea. The words you speak are God in expression. We are God in expression. And this journey that we're going to take today is going to talk about how we can really magnetize our words. That wasn't the word I wanted. I'd used a lightning bug word, and I really wanted a lightning bolt word.
Magnify.
Magnify's good. That works, and it starts with M. I'll go with that. Okay. So we're going to talk about putting power behind our words. Power behind our words. All right? Frequently, I think we use muted power with our words. We don't put the full force behind what we speak because there's so much, what Baggy was talking about, there's so much chatter. We're sometimes not really paying attention, like that great story that Dee told us. The husband wasn't really paying attention anymore, was he? You know? We're bound by our conditions, and we believe our conditions, and the conditions begin to reflect our words, and we start to say things about our Savior. We become hypnotized by what somebody else has told us and what somebody else has told us to think. And we watch the news, we read the papers, you listen to other people, and you let that be your determiner of what's going on, when in reality, since God is the only expression that's going on, and we are a part of God, we actually have the wisdom already within us to know exactly what is right and what is perfect for us to take place in our lives. When I think about words and the power that words have and the misunderstanding that can create around words, I go sometimes to look for stories around these things, and I ran across the story of Nasruddin. Nasruddin the mullah? Well, he tells such great stories. And one of the stories that's told is of a beggar who's standing out in front of this really nice restaurant in this bustling market town. It's a high-end restaurant in this town, and here's this beggar, and he's out in front, and it's run by kind of a what's that cook? There's a cook that's got this notorious, he's got a kind of strong attitude. I'm trying to remember his name. What is it? Gordon Ramsay? He can kind of be gruff. Yes, that one, Bourdain. Really, so it's that kind of a restaurant owner, right? And so here's the beggar, and he's out in front of the restaurant, and the food is smelling good, and he's like, he has no money. All he's got is his sinuses. It smells so good, and he walks off. And the owner of the restaurant comes running out. I saw you do that. You sniffed my food. You owe me money. He goes, What? And he gets the guy arrested for this. And he's in jail now. And he's going in front of the magistrate. And the magistrate and the restaurateur are talking, and the magistrate says, I'm not really clear, but I'm going to let him out on recognizance overnight. You come back tomorrow, and I'm going to have my jurisdiction on you. I will understand. I will put my sentence upon you. And so the beggar is like freaking out, the whole night. He's like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I have no money. And this restaurant owner seemed like he knew the judge. They're probably in cahoots together, and I'm going to end up in jail. And all I did was take a smell of the food. And he's praying all night long, and he wakes up the next morning, and he's there in front of the mosque, and he's walking back to court. And as he walks back, he sees Nasruddin, and he says, oh, Nasruddin, you are so wise. Surely you have an idea for me. And he tells the whole story. And Nasruddin says, sure, I will go to court with you. And he goes to court with him the next morning, and he says to the judge, can I represent him? He is my brother. I want to represent him. And the judge says, okay. And so he tells the whole story again. And then the judge is to say, you know what? You smelled the food, you owe the bill. And Nasruddin says, but you allow me to be his representative. Yes, I do. So Nasruddin takes out his coins, and he shakes the coins in front of the restaurateur's ears. And he says, do you hear that? The restaurateur says, yes, I heard that. You have heard his coins. Now he has paid you for his smelling of your food. Isn't that interesting? But it's about words. It's about how we think about things. And I love how that works, It's the words we use and the ideas we have behind the words. He thought he was stealing something, but then he ended up thinking he got paid for something, Dr. Holmes says in The Science of Mind, he says, the greater the consciousness behind the word, the more power it will have. Nasruddin had such great consciousness behind his words and such careful understanding of the words that he was able to use words' power to get the beggar off for taking a sniff of that great food. The more consciousness we can have in our words, the more power we can have. And it's about consciousness. That's the word that's really key to this whole thing, consciousness. We do a lot of treatment work here in the center. We have our practitioners that pray for you on a regular basis. We talk about it in class. Betsy's teaching a class right now, The Power of Your Word, which talks about treatment and how we make that work. And the first 2 steps of treatment are so important. And the whole teaching, the whole metaphysical teaching, the thing that brought us here is an idea that I sometimes think I don't give enough emphasis to, and maybe we don't think about often enough. And that is that we say it all the time, but do you really understand what it means? There's one mind. There's one life. And life is God. It's not that life is God's life. That's separation, God and his life. No, there's one life. That life is God. That life is my life. That life is your life right now, right? That life, we call God mind. There's only one mind that we live in. We are a part of the one mind. We're not separated from it. We're not an individual. We're an individualized expression of the one mind, just like an idea is a part of your mind. But we're in it. You see? And so when we have a consciousness that we are that one mind and working from that one mind, that's what we're trying to establish in the first and second step of treatment. The first step, God is. The second step, I am. We're understanding that we are what God is. When we understand that, truly get that down into our consciousness, what that does for us is it takes the weight off of us as individuals to create the lives that we want. When we can live in this space of oneness with the divine and really know that the life that is God is my life, then we have all power, we have all substance, we have the ability to shift and change and bring the good into our experience on a regular basis. That's what this whole idea is about, you see. But Dr. Holmes says in this wonderful book called Love and Law, he says, we have been handling ourselves as if we are detached from mind and spirit, as if we are something entirely separate. We are not separate, we are a part of. So the responsibility for healing, the responsibility for more prosperity, the responsibility for more abundance, the responsibility for a right job, the responsibility for forgiveness is not ours like a willpower thing. It's mind that does it. I don't know if I can get this idea across. I'll just talk about it a lot for the next few weeks until we get it. But it's mind that we're in that does this. So if we can know, that's why we talk about having our relationship with the divine. So that we can, that's why Jesus said the Father and I are one. He was totally into this idea. And I'd like for us to get totally into this idea. So that it's not like my will, it's God's will. But the beautiful thing is God's will and my will is the same will when we're in this place of the one mind. You know, there was a castaway. I mean, a guy on an island who was deserted to this island, and he was there lost, and he didn't think there was going to be any hope that he'd ever be found. And one day a ship was passing by, and the captain was, and he sees these 3 huts on an island that he thought was a deserted island. So he sends a boat out to the deserted island, and they get out there, and here's this guy, this one guy. Finally, he's getting rescued. And the captain says, "Are you here with anyone else?" He goes, "No, I'm here by myself." He says, well, what are the 3 huts? "Oh, well, that's where I live." "Okay, and what's that hut?" "Oh, that's my church. That's where I worship." "Well, what's that hut?" "Oh, that's my old church." I have a feeling that all of us are like that guy. We have our place where we live, and we have our place where we come for spiritual food, and then we have our old church that we don't go to anymore. See, we have found this thing called science of mind. We're seekers who have found our new hut, our third hut, you see. And in that third hut is this teaching that I'm talking about around the one mind. If you don't get it this Sunday, come to the classes. If you don't get it this Sunday, sit with a practitioner. If you don't get it this Sunday, come back next Sunday and the Sunday after that and the Sunday after that, because this is going to be my thing, because I really want to get this down, this idea that it's not, when I worked at the World Ministry of Prayer, I worked with a number of different practitioners there, and if any of you that worked with me I'm not talking about you. But there were some that at the end of the day, at the end of our shift, we'd work a 6-hour shift. We'd have to handle 70 calls, at least 70 calls. It's like just speed dialing, speed praying, right? And some of them would leave at the end of the day and they'd be like, I'm so tired. I'd go home, I'd be like, I'd be all alert because I wasn't doing the work. God was doing the work. I could handle 100 calls because it wasn't my will, it was God's will. You see, and that's the space we want us to get to, where we can handle whatever is happening in our lives, and it doesn't stress us out or wear us down or worry us up, because we know that there's a power greater than us that we are a part of, greater than our individual small self, the big self that we're a part of, that takes it on for us, that we are not entirely separate from the mind that is God, that is Spirit itself. That's the journey that we're on. You see, it's not about concentration. It's about one mind. It's about using the law. And there's some great laws in the spiritual universe. There's some great laws to use. The wonderful one is the law of cause and effect. Okay, we all know that one, and that's really wonderful. And the other really good one is the law of growth. Everything grows. Everything. Right? But if you think about it, you put a seed in driving down, my favorite example of that, driving down the 405, and you get a chance to see this because it's the 405. There's a weed growing right there in the crack on the highway. Now, probably on the 405 because cars don't go that fast to run it over. But on another freeway, on the 118, those same weeds are there, despite the fact that you don't see it because you're going down at 90 miles an hour. Thank goodness for the no CHP this morning. Thank you for that. God bless you. But everything grows. And you know what else grows? Consciousness grows. Our consciousness continues to grow on a regular basis so that we will slowly, with the right nutrients, which is coming to the third hut, with the right kind of food, which is what we take in, spiritual food here, with the right kind of time, our consciousness grows till we get that full understanding of our oneness with the divine, so that we all become these magnificent manifestors of Spirit's desire for growth. Because Spirit has the biggest desire for growth, and we are Spirit itself. Back to love and law again. Ernest Holmes. I'm having a new love affair with Ernest Holmes lately. I've been reading Love and Law, Words That Heal, the 365 Daily Guides, and the Science of Mind textbook, and it just is delightful. And in Love and Law, he says, you must know that you, yes, you, Mark. Look, he's like, what? I love, he posts more stuff during the service. I love that. Please do feel free to bring your phones, just silence them, but post, tweet, whatever. Mine's on to Facebook right there. You must know that you are a thinker and that mind takes up your thought and creates it. Because we are in mind, so the thoughts we have, mind has nothing to do but sit around and listen for what we're thinking and go, oh, okay, I could do that, I can do that, I can do that. The challenge we have, and the reason our lives are sometimes all screwy, is because, and they are sometimes, right? Come on, really? I know. Okay, I know you guys are enlightened and your lives are absolutely perfect, and I get that. But mine sometimes is screwy. And it's because my thoughts get scattered, as you have noticed at times, right? And so what happens is, if we're not in that desire, in that focused thinking, if we're not using those lightning bolt words, then sometimes mind creates things that sometimes are not the fullest expression of what we would desire if we can get beyond the chatter of our minds, you see. So, but thank goodness the consciousness grows. We were at Descanso Gardens yesterday. God, it's so beautiful. and just looking at the growth and the beautiful flowers and the trees that are all in bloom and everything. And earlier this week, we were down at Eden Gardens, and the same thing. Just spring is just wonderful, you know? But sometimes what we need to grow from is, it takes time. It takes time. Sometimes someone might say, I am not poor. I am not poor. I am not poor. I'm not poor. I'm not poor. But something in the background is holding on to that idea that maybe I am. It sounds good to say I'm not poor. Don't worry about it if it doesn't work the first time. It may take 1,000,000 times. That's okay, because this law of growth will not be denied. It's an undeniable, immutable law. You must know that in mind, we will grow into the newest, into the greatest. So as we move forward with the idea that our words have power, if we move forward that there is the one mind that we are a part of, as we move forward with the idea that as I think it is done unto me, as I believe it is done unto me, the next thing is, what are we going to do? What kind of words are we going to use? What are we going to do with this power? And that's why the love songs. Because that phrase, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can hurt forever. So maybe I will stick with the lightning bolt, because a lightning bolt hitting you can hurt forever. If you use the wrong words, they can hurt forever. Let your words express God. Let your words express love. That's why we're singing the love songs. Protect ourselves from the race consciousness, from the man-made laws that somebody told us, and go with the God love. Dr. Holmes says, the highest truth is that we are power, spirit, substance. We are made in the image of God. We are a divine expression of God itself. God is love. We are love. So as we choose the words, let's choose words that express love, that share love with our fellow human being, that move us to that place of healing the word. So I ask you right now to think a loving thought and not challenge yourself. Think a loving thought about someone or something that you would not normally think a loving thought about. Think a blessed thought. Now, wouldn't that be nice to have that thought land on the heart of the person or the situation you're thinking about? Isn't that a wonderful idea? If that thought that you came on to is a wonderful idea, and I believe it is, if it would be nice, and I believe it would, then this week, execute that thought and do it. Make it come alive. Throw a lightning bolt of love somewhere, and so it is. So here we are. I speak the language of love, words that bless, heal, and empower. Okay, it's our healing time, and thank you, Dee. Soul Purpose Band getting in place. All right. So this is where we get to use those lightning bolt words and bring the one mind into manifestation for the lives of those that we love, those that we are sometimes challenged with, those conditions we'd like to see shifted or changed. If you have any of those conditions and you want to speak that word into the room right now, gladly accept, and then we shall do a prayer together. Rising up from the silence is a recognition of the divine. Knowing that there is the one mind of which we are all a part. The one life that we all live and move and in which we have our being. This complete isness, this thingness that is life itself. As Dr. Holmes loved to say it, the thing itself. We recognize it right now. as that same animating principle in everything in existence. At the core of all things is the divine. And so as we speak this word right now into the one mind, through the one mind, as the one mind, we know that it is heard, it is received, and it is acted upon as we believe. And I believe that we are each those beautiful emanations of the divine, that we are living a life that is perfect, whole, and complete, that we are open receivers of the gifts of spirit, living in harmony, living in peace, living with right action and divine guidance, inspiring ideas and creative outflows coming forth into our lives as perfect manifestations and demonstrations, what they used to call in the old school evidentials. We see the evidence of life itself flowing into the lives of those that we have spoken into the room for, those that we hold into our hearts, those that we come across this week, that we sit and wonder, and we have that urge, that desire, that feeling. We see someone in need and we say, I know the truth of that person right now. And we allow this prayer to activate that truth in their lives. For you see, every thought we have is a silent prayer. Every word we speak has the potential to manifest. So we speak words that are clear, that are powerful, that strike like a lightning bolt straight to the truth. For this I am so grateful for this community, so grateful for all the loved ones here that come together to share spirit, to move forward in truth, to grow in our consciousness of the divine, and to step out into the world as change agents for God. I'm so grateful for this truth. I say thank you, Mother, Father, God. Thank you, divine presence. Thank you to that infinite spirit of which we are all a part. And I release this word now on behalf of each and every one of us into the law, knowing it is done, complete, and good. And so it is. Mm-hmm. Ooh.